When the cameras stop rolling. The heartbreaking, hopeful choice that tested a 28-year love story. For nearly 3 decades, they haven't just been a couple, they've been a cornerstone of our morning routine. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are the couple we felt we knew, the ones who made us believe that a love forged in the spotlight could not only survive, but thrive with authenticity, humor, and a palpable, unwavering connection. Their story felt like ours, just with better lighting. We watched them fall in love on the set of All My Children. Two stunningly beautiful people whose on-screen chemistry was merely a preview of a real-life epic. They eloped in 1996 in a whirlwind of young, impulsive love that chose commitment over celebrity fanfare. They built a family, raised 3 remarkable children, and became the gold standard for a Hollywood partnership that felt refreshingly, reassuringly normal. And then they gave us the ultimate gift, a window into their dynamic every single morning on Live with Kelly&Mark. It was there we saw it all, the playful teasing that spoke of deep comfort, the shared glances that finished silent sentences, the occasional, relatable bicker that proved even the most enviable marriages are still, well, marriages. They were the heartbeat of the show, an inseparable duo whose very presence felt like a promise. Love, built on friendship, can be your greatest adventure. Which is why the news felt like a sudden crack in that perfect picture. An unexpected choice from Mark has left fans, friends, and most profoundly, Kelly, reeling. The announcement that he would be stepping away from their shared daytime throne wasn't just a career shift, it was an earthquake in the foundation of a partnership we all admired. For a moment, the laughter stopped, and we were all left wondering, what happens when the dream job and the dream life collide? What happens when the very thing that binds you also begins to strain the seams? This isn't just a story about a co-host leaving a show. This is a story about marriage. It's about the quiet, unspoken strains that every long-term couple faces, magnified under the glare of a national spotlight. It's about identity, change, and the terrifying necessary courage it takes to grow, even when it means growing in slightly different directions. The beautiful blurred lines of love and work. For years, Kelly&Mark mastered the art of the blend. Their home life and work life weren't just adjacent, they were intertwined. We, the audience, were the beneficiaries. We felt like we were in on the joke, part of the family. But behind the effortless banter and sunny dispositions, sources close to the couple suggest that the constant togetherness began to take its toll. Imagine it. Your coworker is also your confidant. Your business partner is also the person you go home to. The source of a minor professional frustration is also the love of your life. There's no escape, no quiet compartmentalization. For Mark, a man known for his passionate and sometimes introspective nature, the struggle was to find a space to simply be Mark, not Kelly's co-host, not a public figure, but himself. The studio, once a stage for their love story, began to feel like a place where the lines between partner and persona were permanently blurred. And Kelly, the ultimate professional, the woman who has made grace under pressure look like an art form, felt the immense weight of keeping the machine running smoothly. The pressure to be on, to be perfect, to be the steady anchor for both the show and their public-facing relationship was a heavy load to carry, even for someone of her incredible strength. The very thing that made their show so magical, their real, unvarnished relationship, was also its greatest point of pressure. The moment the music changed. The announcement, when it came, was a quiet tremor that felt like a quake. Mark was stepping away. The words were professional, respectful, but the subtext was emotionally deafening. A chapter was closing. The dynamic we had all come to cherish was shifting irrevocably. And no one felt that shift more acutely than Kelly. On air, she was the picture of professionalism, but her composure, that famously steely resilience, showed a hairline fracture. In a moment that was raw and breathtakingly real, her voice softened, catching with an emotion she couldn't and perhaps didn't want to contain. It's hard to imagine doing this without him, she admitted, the words hanging in the air, heavy with meaning. We've been side by side for so long. It's going to take time. It was a confession that resonated with anyone who has ever relied on a partner. It wasn't just about missing a co-host, it was about missing her other half. The person who shared the same rhythm, the same unspoken cues, the same history in that specific space. But the true heartbreak happened off camera. Reports surfaced that Kelly, once behind the closed door of her dressing room, completely broke down. The tears weren't for the show, they were for the partnership. They were for the end of a daily routine that was so much more than a job. It was a living, breathing monument to their teamwork and love. It was the terrifying prospect of facing the familiar alone, of rebuilding the routine that had defined her for so long. The love that holds you letting go. In the wake of the shock, Mark's heartfelt statement offered a balm and a perspective. He said, "I never meant to hurt Kelly. This decision was about finding balance for both of us. She's my best friend, my partner, and my heart." And there it is, the crucial, beautiful, painful nuance that defines real grown-up love. This isn't a story of a rift. This isn't a breakup. This is an evolution. Sometimes the most profound act of love isn't holding on tighter. It's knowing when to loosen your grip to give the person you love the space to breathe, to grow, to find themselves again. Mark's choice, as painful as it was in the moment, was ultimately an act of protection. Protection for his own spirit and for the sacred, private core of their marriage that was becoming harder to distinguish from their public brand. The public response was a tidal wave of understanding. Fans didn't turn away in anger, they leaned in with empathy. One viewer perfectly captured the collective sentiment online. Kelly&Mark showed us what partnership really looks like through the laughter, the arguments, and now the growing pains. We love them for that. They saw their own relationships reflected in this moment of change. The difficult, loving choices we make to preserve the whole, even when it means changing apart. An evolution, not an ending. Today, if you watch the show, you'll see a different Kelly. Still brilliant, still sharp, still the undeniable star she has always been. But there's a new layer, a quiet strength, a reflective quality. She is a woman in the process of rediscovering her own solo rhythm, while still holding tightly to the love that has been her anchor for 28 years. And Mark, though absent from the co-host chair, is not absent from her life. He remains her steady foundation, her best friend, her heart. Their bond wasn't broken. It was simply recalibrated to ensure its long-term survival. Because love, real love, isn't just about standing side by side on a soundstage every single day. It's about knowing when to stand a step back so you can both see a clearer path forward. It's about trusting that the connection you built through youth, through fame, through parenthood, through it all, is strong enough to withstand change. For Kelly&Mark, this isn't a farewell. It's a new verse in the same love song. It's proof that even after decades, the heart has an infinite capacity to change, to heal, and to choose each other again and again, even if the setting looks a little different. If you've ever had to let go of something you loved to protect it, a dream, a routine, or even a version of a relationship, you understand exactly what Kelly&Mark are navigating. You know that the most courageous chapters of a love story are often written not in the grand gestures, but in the quiet, painful, and profoundly loving decisions to let each other grow.